Let me hit you with an uncomfortable truth. A lot of your personality is just fear wearing good manners. You didn't choose it, you learned it. You learned to scan faces like weather reports. You learned to edit your voice before it leaves your mouth. You learned to dress, post, laugh, stay silent, or agree based on a question you never stop asking. What will they think?
Let me hit you with an uncomfortable truth. A lot of your personality is just fear wearing good manners. You didn't choose it, you learned it. You learned to scan faces like weather reports. You learned to edit your voice before it leaves your mouth. You learned to dress, post, laugh, stay silent, agree based on a question you never stop asking. What will they think? Think about the last week. The message you didn't send. The joke you swallowed. The opinion you softened until it meant nothing. The photo you didn't post because it felt too much. Or the photo you did post because you needed to prove you were fine. And then answer this brutally. Whose life are you living when you need permission to exist? Because if you require approval to be yourself, you're not yourself. You're a version that passes inspection, a socially acceptable cut of your real nature. A person who fits inside other people's expectations, like a suit that slowly steals your breath. Here's the twist. Most of the judgment you fear isn't even happening out there. It's happening in here. You're not being watched by the world. You're being tried in a private courtroom in your own head, an inner judge, an inner jury, an inner executioner. And the worst part is you've mistaken that courtroom for reality. Today, I'm not going to give you motivational sugar. I'm going to show you where that courtroom came from, why it feels so powerful, and a practical way to shut it down so your choices stop being votes for safety and start being votes for truth. But first, a test. The next time you feel that spike, someone looks at you strangely, someone doesn't reply fast enough, someone laughs at the wrong moment, pause. Don't react. Don't explain yourself. Just notice what happens inside. The instant you begin to build a story. They think I'm weird. They're judging me. I look stupid. That story is the court case. And you've been defending yourself your whole life. So let me ask you, when did your inner court become louder than your inner compass? And what would your day look like if you stopped pleading your innocence to imaginary jurors and started living like your soul is not on trial? That inner courtroom didn't appear because you're weak. It appeared because you were small. When you were a kid, there was someone, parent, teacher, caregiver, whose face was your universe. Their approval wasn't a nice bonus. It was emotional survival. A raised eyebrow could feel like exile. A cold silence could feel like death. Comparison with another child could feel like a verdict. Be different if you want love. Those moments don't stay as memories. They become programs. Neural shortcuts built before you had language for them. And those shortcuts still run today, silently, like a script you didn't write. So, when you're 17, 23, 31, and someone in a hallway looks through you like you're invisible, and you replay it for hours, what's hurting you isn't their eyes. It's the old eyes, the old tone, the old disappointment that taught your nervous system, if I'm rejected, I'm not safe. Carl Jung warned about this in his own way. What you don't make conscious doesn't disappear. It returns as fate. In other words, if you never face the inner court, you'll keep meeting it everywhere, wearing different faces. And that's the mechanism, projection. You assume people are judging you because you're already judging yourself. You don't fear their sentence. You fear confirming your own secret belief. They'll think I'm ridiculous. Translation: I think I'm ridiculous. They won't accept me. Translation: I don't accept me. Here's a mini challenge, and it's simple enough to do today. The next time you feel that social panic, ask, did they actually say anything? Did they actually express an expectation? If the answer is no, you're not responding to a person, you're responding to a phantom. That phantom is your inner court, trying to keep you safe, by keeping you small. It would rather you be liked than alive. It would rather you be approved than authentic. Now look closer. How many of your habits are just legal strategies in that courtroom? People-pleasing as defense. Perfectionism as evidence. Silence as settlement. And tell me, how long are you willing to live as your own attorney instead of your own witness? Jung also spoke about another thing that explains your exhaustion. The persona. The persona is the mask, your social interface. And no, masks aren't evil. Everyone has them. You speak differently with friends than with a teacher. You act differently in a job interview than when you're alone at night. That's normal. It's adaptive. The problem is when the mask becomes your face. When you live for other people's opinions, your persona stops being a tool and becomes a prison. You start identifying with what you present, not what you are. You don't just wear the mask, you become it. And then you forget the person underneath exists. That's why it drains you. Because acting costs energy. Performing costs energy. Even being chill costs energy when it's not real. And you can't stay on stage 24/7 without your soul demanding payment. There's another cost people don't talk about, resentment. You begin to feel anger toward the very people you chase approval from, not because they demanded your self-erasure, but because a part of you knows you offered it. You signed a contract. Your wounded inner child wrote it, and your adult self never renegotiated it. So here's the next practical step. Catch the mask mid-creation. Before you enter a room, before you post, before you speak, notice the subtle shift, the tightening in your chest, the rehearsing in your head, the urge to be easy to digest. Then ask a sharper question. What role am I about to play, and what am I afraid would happen if I didn't? Don't answer with philosophy. Answer with honesty. If I'm myself, they'll reject me. If I say what I mean, they'll think I'm arrogant. If I stop performing, I'll be alone. Good. Now we have the real issue. Because this isn't about confidence. It's about identity. It's about whether you have an inner center strong enough to let people misunderstand you without collapsing. And that leads to the core move. Closing the courtroom isn't about forcing yourself to not care. It's about building a self that doesn't need constant defense. So tell me, who are you when you stop auditioning? Let's talk about the cure, but not the fake one. Not just be yourself as a bumper sticker. I mean a real process, moving from the outer gaze back to the inner center. Step 1. Identify the voice of the judge. The moment you feel social fear, freeze. Ask, is this voice mine or is it borrowed? Most harsh inner voices are interjections, old authorities living rent-free in your mind. The voice that shamans you is rarely your essence. Your essence doesn't mock you. It guides you. Step 2. Expose the courtroom's evidence. Your mind will present proof that you're being judged. A look, a pause, a tone. But those are ambiguous signals. Your fear turns them into convictions. So practice this. I'm noticing my mind creating a story, not fighting it, not obeying it, naming it. Step 3. Meet the inner child without violence. The part of you that panics around judgment is trying to protect you from an old pain. Don't bully it with toughness. Speak to it like a leader, not a tyrant. I see you. We're not 7 anymore. We can survive disapproval. That's not motivational fluff. That's nervous system retraining. Now here's your mini challenge for the week. Do one small act that your inner court hates, something harmless but honest. Wear what you actually like. State one real opinion without over-explaining. Post something that's true, not polished. Then do the hardest part. Don't run back to check the verdict. Let the discomfort rise and fall without feeding it. Because freedom isn't the absence of fear. It's the ability to act without bribing the jury. And here's your boundary line. Clear and unapologetic. If you want comfort more than evolution, don't follow Inside Out. This isn't the place to decorate your mask. It's a place to remove it. So, what would you do this week if you stopped asking, will they approve? And started asking, is this aligned with the person I'm becoming? There's a final truth you have to accept if you want your life back. Disapproval is part of purpose. If you're pleasing everyone, you're not living, you're negotiating. Any real path will offend someone's expectations. The honest person threatens the polite liar. The disciplined person irritates the undisciplined. The authentic person triggers the performer. And sometimes the judgment you feel is just another person reacting to the fact that you're refusing to play the old game. So stop treating criticism as a sacred prophecy. Most opinions are not wisdom. They're mood, they're projection, they're insecurity looking for a target. Even praise can be a trap if it trains you to chase a version of yourself that earns applause instead of peace. Let me give you a lens that changes everything. When you live for the outer gaze, you become a billboard. You invite constant evaluation. But when you live from the inner center, you become a lighthouse. You're still seen, but you're not begging to be seen. And that difference matters. Ask yourself, are you trying to be watched, or are you trying to be true? Here's the last practical move. Write down one decision you're delaying because of what people will think. Now rewrite it in a harsher language. I'm delaying this because I'm afraid of being misunderstood. Then go one level deeper. I'm afraid of being misunderstood because I still confuse misunderstanding with rejection. And rejection with danger. That's the chain. Break it at the root. Because the most rebellious act in a world addicted to performance is not loudness. It's integrity. It's letting your life be evidence that a human can exist without constant permission. And now I'm going to ask you the question that decides everything. When you're old and no one's watching anymore, will you be proud that you protected your image? Or devastated that you abandoned your reality?